G'day, my friends. Welcome to Marty's Garden. We've got Mr. Pepe Fassos again on the channel. My good friend, organic farmer, micro farmer, microgreens extraordinaire. I think he's got 42. He might tell me I'm wrong here and say I've got 47. It's 42 or 47 different varieties growing organically. So the biggest range of microgreens on the planet. Now, I just introduced you as a micro-organic farmer. So it just gives a quick, brief rundown about yourself, chef to organic farmer.
Thanks, Marty. What a strapping intro. Thank you, brother.
I try my best.
Yeah. I'm an ex-chef. I grew up in a restaurant. I love food, and I love it tasting good and looking good. It led me to farming. In a nutshell, I was always around in a Greek family, put together the fresh food, do all the growing, eat the chicken, eat everything, and it led me to this. So now I run a microgreens farm. I have 2 tunnels, 386 square meters. Yes, we run 42 varieties of microgreen. We are at the moment, I can see this, people catching up quick, but we have the largest range of certified organic microgreen varieties in Australia at the moment. So I'm pretty proud of that. And we also have a lot of market gardens.
Yeah, awesome. So just to put it into context, you're in northern New South Wales, which is like on Queensland, New South Wales border. We're in a subtropical climate. You started off, like I started off as a micro farmer and moved into YouTube and self-sufficiency. And you've carried on the dream with the micro farm and expanded out to something really amazing. I'm so proud of what you've done so far. The achievement is just insane, especially going through like floods and all these things. You got a family of 8. It's just, mate, it's just amazing what you've done. And on your channel, because you do have a YouTube channel, Pepe Fassos, you started from the very beginning showing how you were growing it under the windows. You had a couple of little lights. The lights were giving you the shits from memory, and or something like that. But you started off small, and so the whole concept really, if people want to become a micro farmer, I agree on starting off with microgreens and starting off small. What do you think, mate?
You nailed it, mate. Now, microgreens are relatively simple, and I'm not, they're a good way to start, exactly. And they're fast growing, they're high productivity, so you're going to get a result that will inspire you to carry on. Yeah, you're exactly right.
So we get a saleable product how quickly? This is the thing.
Oh, if you've got, in summer, you can have a radish crop or sunflower crop in 7 days. I mean, that's my general turnaround. And,
so it's good, quick cash flow.
Yeah, absolutely. And 7 days.
What would you recommend, right? Say, for example, you're getting started. You go, right, I want to be a micro farmer. I want to take the benefits of quick cash flow. What would be the first step that you would do to get started? Just one step.
One step. YouTube. Learn.
Okay. The second step would be, like, I'm going to talk about trial and tribulation here. So starting off small, one lot, how many plants, one restaurant? Would that, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Trial and error. Now, don't come flying out of the gates. Just pick. Okay, go down to your local cafe you've always been going to get a coffee and a sandwich, whatever that's, you think that product to be used. Go and tell them what you want to do. Say, can I bring in some samples? Use them as a test pilot, how to speak, and work with them. So you're going to learn how to sell, like personally as a human, your personality, you've got to have a bit of that. Plus, you've got to learn how to present, store, harvest, grow your product. But you're not overproducing or investing all this money into something that, I'd hope not fail, but you're learning and growing nice and slowly.
Mate, that is just gold what you said there. I just totally agree on everything you said. So an example would be starting off small, growing something for the family first, a bit of trial and error, get it right, then out to the first restaurant. Would you agree?
100%. And don't try and grow, like I said earlier, 42 varieties. Just pick a couple, maybe three, and I can tell you which ones I suggest, but which ones always wanted out there, and then you can go from there.
Well, let's do that. Say for example, they go, okay, I want to grow three varieties. I'm going to grow them at home first to trial them and see how I go. Make a few mistakes, learn as I go, and then when I'm ready, what three varieties are the restaurants wanting and that are easy to grow that you would recommend starting off with?
Well, I can tell you from sales that the biggest sellers are the ones I started off growing. I mean, they're staples in the industry. So I would choose a radish variety. Purple Sango is beautiful. Purple stem, purple cotyledon and leaf. We can talk about what a microgreen is after, but and then sunflower shoot. I and lastly a pea shoot. Now they're all things that say a health cafe would want sunflowers, a restaurant or an upmarket cafe would want pea shoots and radish. I mean, you could even start with two small businesses, but those ones easy to grow, fast turnover, and fast crop and easy. I mean, yeah, I suggest those three.
Yeah, awesome. My first one I grew that I was profitable with first was actually purple Sango radish, mostly just for the colour and the flavour. I think because I loved it so much when I went to the restaurants and took it to the restaurants and to different owners and things, I was so enthusiastic about it. Like I'd be getting and going, have a look at the colour, man. It's just insane. And the antioxidants in it, mate, killer, and it tastes just like a radish. And they'd be going, really? This is the early days of microgreens, right? Some people didn't even know what they were. So I'm bringing out this whole new something that people were just going, oh, we eat sprouts. It's not a sprout, man. Taste it. They're going like, I'm going like this, going to give it to them. They go, I'm like, come on. And they taste it in this explosion of flavour. And it's like, that is so good. I'm like, I know, right? You want to buy a bag? They're $5 a bag, but I'll give you a trial pack first. See how far it goes, then you'll know how many you want. I'll be back in a week. Right? So this is my way I did it. And then I'd come back and they'd be going, oh, we haven't tried it yet. I'm like, well, there's another pack. Let me know. I'm telling you now, give some to your thing, use it however you want. I'm going to be back again next week when I do my next run. And by eventually, it might take 2 times. They're buying off you regularly. The first time, you're really just introducing yourself. They're getting to know you, going, who's this idiot? He mightn't even show up next week. But because you did show up next week, they go, this guy's consistent.
Yeah?
And they want consistency, don't they?
They do, mate. And it takes two weeks, for people's routines to change. So you've got to stay in their face, so to speak, without hassling. And also, before you go in, choose the right time. There's oftentimes they're busy. So, often go between lunch and breakfast and lunch, or lunch and dinner. They're prepping, they're generally sitting down having a coffee, and they've got time to talk to you. So,
good one. So, say for example, you take a sample pack in. How do you explain the difference between, most people know what microgreens are now more than when I was started out, but how would you just describe the difference between a sprout and a microgreen, so to speak?
Well, microgreens are the first set of leaves, which are called cotyledons, and you can also grow out the next leaf, which is a true. Now they're harvested. There's no seed hull. There's no root. Sprouts, on the other hand, they're grown in water, 60-degree temperature, but they come with the hull and the root. They're generally, you're eating the proteins and the fats of the seed. That flavour comes through, but a microgreen has had the chance to absorb some elements, some nutrients from the compost, some sunlight, so their essence is coming to life. So a radish sprout, yes, it'll be spicy in your mouth, but a radish microgreen, 30 times more flavour in my opinion. and
Wow.
nutrient value.
Wow, that's just amazing. So we're talking about nutritional value, right? So there's different markets now because in the beginning we had the market of say the color, a flavor profile, and making a plate look pretty. But
Mm.
from following the market, no, you're in the market now. I'm not anymore, but I still follow the market as much as I can. Now, the whole new thing is opening up for microgreens is to do with the nutritional value side of things. So then you would be possibly growing maybe another crop
Mm.
to access that nutritional value. Would there be some others that you would recommend if people wanted to move down that line instead of like the color, flavor, restaurant, pop? You know?
Yeah, no, very important, Marty. There is a huge lean towards nutrient dense food since 2020 and this COVID pandemic, and people are wanting to eat better. And even the pandemic's made people source locally as well, but that's a whole other topic. But broccoli has been my actually my biggest seller in the general consumer department. It is just a powerhouse of nutrients without too deep. But the latest research, it has N-acetylcysteine in it, which is called NAC, which is a sulforaphane basically that draws out heavy metals from the body and basically the greatest antioxidant for dealing with disease known to man. it's
Amazing. Yeah,
it's a
amazing. Like it's a whole new way of looking at nutrition, right? And even though it's been around for a very long time, the
mm,
public's just starting to sort of grab hold of it, which is sort of the next level of this. So we can actually look at it and promote it now as a two-in-one product. Not only as a flavor profile, something that looks pretty on the plate as a garnish, but something that is really, really good for you. Yeah. And so when you take yours to a new market, a new customer, how do you present it and let them know the value benefits of a microgreen?
well, generally I ask what they're looking for. So a lot of them look. We store them in a fridge at the farmers market. So people are looking in the fridge, and we have four types. We have a salad mix, we have a spicy Asian mix, we have a plain broccoli, and we have a forte mix, I call it, which is broccoli, kale, and cabbage. So you generally get a feel for what they want. Like they're either just wanting to impress their friends, or they want to eat better, or boost their lifestyle. So you find out, and then you'd steer them to that product, and then you capture them. They come back next week and go, "Oh, that was amazing," and say, "Well, hey, try this one." And yeah, I generally feel the customer out first and go from there. It's you don't even know if that person that's walked in is a chef. You don't want to be selling them a packet of broccoli when they want what I call my zest mix, which is a chef confetti, and and then we go from there.
The chef mix. So can you explain? So people that say they decided to get started, right? They go, okay,
Mhm.
well, we grow some for the family. We try and see what it's like that way, and see if we actually enjoy doing it. If we're good at it, we go through some trials and tribulations. We start off with one or two restaurants or one or two customers and start delivering to them. We start getting used to dealing with the public, how they want it presented to them, how they want to store it, how often we go to them, what we're going to charge. Obviously, that's a whole other video in itself. And
It
then
is.
then we look at okay, we're going to scale into other products. Now you mentioned a chef mix.
Yeah.
So as we're moving through in business, we want to scale. So could you give us an idea of what would go into a chef's mix?
Okay. I run. I think hospitality. I think general consumer. So I tend to. Okay, the chef confetti. Let's just call it that. I sell to both parties. So to the general consumer at the farmers market, it makes them feel like a chef. So what's in it is, I call it a seasonal uh, greenhouse blend. So what's available, what's tasting great at the time, what is in season is often accentuated. So at the moment in my chef confetti or zest blend, I have basils in there, but I always have a base of the seasonal vegetable microgreens. So you're just getting a pop of those flavors. But the consumer, they think it's great. They think they're a chef. They get home and they do this and then they post it on Instagram. Oh, look at me. But for the chef confetti, see, it's layered in my container. I take in a sample of what's seasonal, and then the chef will pull that apart and say, okay, I want more of that, more of that, more of that. And then you go from there. But with the general consumer, they're happy just to receive what's available once you hook them. And they love the fact with my seasonal mix that it changes weekly, what herbs I have available, or what's coming in and what's changing with the season. So
yeah, awesome. So just to cut it short on that bit there, because I want to mention something. So you're talking about going to the chef, right? And then they pull it apart and change it and things like that. Then you mentioned the general consumer isn't as concerned. They're just like, they get it, they put it on their plate, and they're like, have a little party or whatever. It produces these amazing flavor profiles. So I'm still blown out. I collect little things every day from my garden and put it on and I'm always blown out how much I've got and how many different flavor profiles. Even though I've been doing it like, it seems like, I don't know, for so long, I'm still blown out. And so it's like, I can see that the consumer would be, okay, as a beginner, you're better off having a couple of, say, the 3 little products that we spoke about, selling them in some way, a bag or whether they go in pots or whatever. And then the scale would be going to the consumer and just having the seasonal product because they're less fussy. So you've got less time problems on your hand, and you could build a list with those guys, right? And so I'll be back weekly, I'll be back fortnightly. Then you know how much money you're going to start making. Now that's where the gold starts rolling in, yeah?
Yeah, that's where you reap the rewards of your hard work. True. Yeah, look, the customers, as I said, they love how it'll change up weekly. Like I've stopped planting chervil now because it's getting too hot. But chervil just added a beautiful twist on the general consumer mix. But yeah, it's a big conversation. But the chefs, yeah.
I think it's good. So the next thing really is to like look at, okay, so we've got our 3 little products. We can, if we want to go to some of the local people, you just need to start off with your friends and family, start giving some of that out, and then find a way to sort of expand out to other people through word of mouth, I guess, and building a little list up. And then, because what happens is, and I found this, is you grow not enough if you're telling too many people, and then you disappoint people. So you're always better off having a little bit more than what you need, I think, and then you eat, you consume the rest, sort of thing. I think that's really the way to go. Now, years ago, I mentioned to you about starting like salad mixes and then mixing the microgreens with them. You had pretty good success with that as well, didn't you, at the markets?
Big time, mate. And it's still a hit. And thank you for that. I mean, Marty's, to all you out there, Marty's been a great mentor for me. So, it's not all me.
No. You, mate, you take the hat off for yourself now, mate. You've surpassed what I've ever done.
No.
You're you've moved in. No, it's great that you're humble, but you've moved into becoming, it's not an easy feat to actually become registered organic. And I know this because it's sort of the industry that I've been in for a long time. So, mate, actually, we've got the crowd here. They will applaud you, my friend. And the kid in the background goes, Mum, I've got to let the horn off. I've got to do it. I've just got to do it. So I think, we've covered some really great stuff here. And like you've got another channel, a channel, Pepe Fassos. I think we might have mentioned that at the beginning of the video. And they can go and watch the beginning of your journey there. You're not in there much anymore. You're over in Instagram now, I believe. We'll talk about that in a second. So they can go over and watch that journey. They're there for everyone to enjoy and to learn from. There's heaps of great stuff in there. I think you've even got some videos about the sunflower stuff, solving some problems there, which is just absolutely gold. But if people want to follow and look at your images and sort of like get an idea of what you're doing behind the scenes and what you're showing in your products and things, where can they find you on Instagram, mate?
Okay, our farm name is 560 Farms. So that's all words. Word 5, word 60, word farms. And over there, we're posting, yeah, day-to-day life. I mean, stories and a weekly post with a story about what we've done. And we always promote or advertise the people or products we're using. So it'll help you get on a direction to, and it's mostly Australian uh, advertisements. It's all the people we use. So yeah, it's very helpful, I find, and I get a lot of good feedback on it.
It's good eye candy there, and I think people can look at how the way to display their products if they're just getting started. They're interested in micro farming, they're interested in growing microgreens, and look at how things are displayed. Because your chef background and things like that, I think that just really shines through. And so I would highly recommend, if you're in Instagram, to go and have a look and follow 560 Farms over there, and stay on that program here. We've got other videos speaking with Pepe Fassos, my favourite organic farmer on the mid-north, I was going to say mid-north coast, but I just moved back to Byron Shire, so on the north coast of New South Wales. We've been chatting for a long time this morning, having a good old time, fighting through some of these technology barriers to get this content to you. We had a bit of a struggle, didn't we, mate? Honestly.
We did, but it was worth it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. And I'm starting to get hungry now, so so I'm gonna say goodbye. But thanks everyone for coming. I know Pepe would like to say goodbye to everyone right now, and then we'll head off.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks for tuning in today. And if you've got any questions, hit Marty or myself. We're both here to help.
Yeah. Have a great day. Happy everything. We'll see you at the next video live show or these video podcasts, wherever I'm doing next. Who knows? But for now, actually, we do know these ones are rocking. Ciao. See you, Pepe. Thanks heaps for coming on the show, man. You're a champion. Love you, brother.
See you soon.